Hare Krishna, everyone! Today in this video we are going to answer the question, what is Krishna consciousness? Well, Krishna consciousness is the science in which we as humans become happy, ultimately happy and satisfied. We do this, in short, by becoming conscious of Krishna in everything that we do. Who is Krishna, you might ask? Krishna is the source of your spirit, or soul. Some people might call him God. Some people might call him brother, lover, best friend, husband, caregiver. Krishna is known by many people as many things. But the person Krishna lived in a place called Vrindavan in around 3000 BC. He grew up as a shepherd or a cowherd boy called a gopa, and he had many friends. They were also cowherders, gopis as for females, or gopas as cowboys, of course. Later on in life, after he became of age, he moved and eventually became a great king. So, in other traditions, some people might know him as Bhagavan Krishna or Maharaj Krishna. But to his devotees, the people who love him, he is known as one of 5 rasas. And rasas are basically just different kinds of relationships. So like many other gods you will see, normally they're holding some kind of tool. Like for example, Vishnu is holding a chakra wheel and a conch shell and many other tools such as this, but the only tool that Krishna has is the flute. Other gods have duties or tasks. There are reasons that they are incarnations of Krishna, because they are meant to fulfill a specific role. And so these incarnations of Krishna, we also like to call those Panchatattva, or you could also call them Krishna Tattva. It translates directly just to the incarnations of Krishna. Krishna only has the flute because he is without a role. He is free of all roles. He is free to just be a person, the supreme person. And that is the person that we are trying to become conscious of. Krishna consciousness, according to scholars, is called Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and that is probably the best scholarly term for the path that we follow. In the social arena, some people might say that it's part of Hinduism, but Hinduism is more of a term used to describe the religions of an entire region or geographical plane, the areas of India and Bengal and surrounding areas there. This isn't actually a religion, it is a path. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells us to abandon all religion and surrender unto him. So for those of you that may be adverse to religion, or be thinking this is just another god sham that is very common in the Western world, this is not the case. This is something that you can try and do experiments with and realize for yourself. It is a science, not a religion. It is a path. There is no dogma here. You can choose to do things however you want. Everything eventually flows back into Krishna anyway, so it's just a matter of time. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it later? It's up to you. The actual names of the different paths in that region are many and extremely varied. Different philosophies include Advaita, and then there's Dvaita, so basically monism or dualism, which are the beliefs that either God is one or you and God are completely separate. Another name of a philosophy, particularly the one that we follow, is called Vishishadvaita, which is basically you and God are eternally separate and also one. So basically you are separate persons, but you are the same in quality. The spirit soul is the jiva, and we are parts and partials that make up the entire whole of Krishna. Krishna is also known as the complete and unanimous truth. So anything that is true can ultimately be contributed to Krishna. So ours is a path of common sense, logic, and obvious truth. So basically everything I'm saying here is true and can be proven within oneself. But in order to do that, you have to take up this path. What is this path, you might ask? Well, there are a few ways to tackle walking upon this path. So on one side of it, you have something called Vaidhi Bhakta, or Vaidhi Bhakti. And with this path, you can follow this path for the rest of your life, but with this path, it is not going to be leading to Krishna and residing with Krishna in a place called Goloka Vrindavan after this life. However, following this path can lead you to be a good person, and also lead you to the person Bhagavat, who is what's called a guru. Your guru is a spiritual teacher who has realized true love of God, or bhakti. Or, as well as the person Bhagavat, it can also lead you to the book Bhagavat. Book Bhagavatam is scripture, so you have Bhagavad Gita, which is the beginner's scripture. This is where you want to start out at if you're reading any type of scripture. If you want to start from the ground up and start with Vaidhi Bhakti so that you can find who is your guru. Now there's an intermediate scripture called the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is an extremely long scripture that encompasses 12 cantos or books and has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of verses. I do not recall the specific number, but it is an extremely large work, and it will take an extremely long amount of time and dedication in order to read it. And the third scripture is going to be the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Chaitanya Charitamrita is based upon an incarnation of Krishna that came in about 1500 AD, so we're talking about 500 years ago, very recently. So in the 1500s AD, an incarnation of Krishna came to earth that was an incarnation of both Krishna and his female consort, who is Radha Rani. Radha Rani represents devotional potency. She represents energy. She represents bhakti itself. And when Krishna lived in Vrindavan as a young boy, Radha Rani was Krishna's favorite gopi. So they were basically boyfriend and girlfriend. But Lord Sri Chaitanya came as an incarnation as both of these entities, the supreme person Krishna and the supreme potency Radharani, in the same body as one person. Krishna came down in another body to experience this devotional bliss and ecstasy as the person Sri Chaitanya. Now this might be confusing for some, but this is an advanced scripture. And so basically, these are the two Bhagavats. You have person Bhagavatam and book Bhagavatam, the scripture and the guru. And so you have Vaidhi Bhakti, right? These are basically just consist of following rules. So you have the 4 regulative principles, which are no intoxicants, no gambling, no meat eating, and no illicit sex. Those are the 4 main ones that you have to follow. So no illicit sex means no having sex other than for the purpose of bearing a child. Krishna conscious child, as a matter of fact. So not only can you not have sex out of marriage, but you cannot have sex in marriage unless you have the specific will and intention to bear a Krishna conscious child. And then number 2, no meat eating. That's pretty self-explanatory. So you don't eat anything that was ever conscious. Cows, beef, chicken, pork, fish. You can eat plants, things that grow out of the ground, things that fall from trees. That's pretty much it. And then you have no gambling, also self-explanatory, but this will also include things like gaming, specifically. So no video games, no board games, no Dungeons and Dragons. And then number 4, you have no intoxicants. So no alcohol, no marijuana. Technically, if you want to go really, really strict, no caffeine, no nicotine, nothing that alters the conscious at all whatsoever. So you have the 4 regulative principles that you have to follow. Part of Vaidhi Bhakti is also looking the part. So dressing right, you wearing the dhoti, which are the traditional pants that are a sheet that you fold in a specific way so that they look like pants. And then you have kurta, or another white sheet that you use as a shirt. And then you can do, you have to have a specific haircut, what they call the flag, or the shika. Basically, it's a ponytail, and then you shave the rest of your head other than just the ponytail in the back. And it has to be a specific size. And then also, you have to wear neck beads. Also, following the scripture, following the scripture to a T, you also have to act polite. So, alternatively to that, instead of going through all that neophyte crap, all that work, you could just surrender to what I'm saying, not do any research or look into it for yourself, just listen to what I'm saying, and then come and associate with me in my Sangha, with our Guru Srila Bhaktivedanta Gauraharidas. And then, that way is a sure way to saving. So you can either start out in Vaidhi and then come over to Raganuga, associate with us, or you can just do Vaidhi and ignore us, just do this research, look into the scripture, do Jnana Yoga, which is knowledge-based, basically gaining knowledge of the Vedas, your entire life, and then maybe next life or the life after that you come to meet Guru or someone that I'm trying to introduce you to here. Or you can come straight to Raganuga and associate with us and meet Krishna now. You can meet him with your eyes, you can smell him, you can touch him, you can taste him. Now these are external ways that you can experience Krishna, but the real way of experiencing Krishna is through his name, so chanting, and then you can feel his presence internally. It's like a fog coming over you. And this is how you know that this path is the truth. This is how you know that this is for real. So what this cloud of Krishna feels like or represents internally when it comes over you is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, or to put it in English, it's existence, consciousness, bliss absorbed in Krishna's form. So first you have existence, the I am, and then you have consciousness, which is spirit, soul, or personhood, and then you have bliss, which is an all-encompassing joy and feeling of completeness, wholeness, satisfaction. And when this comes over you, when you're absorbed into Krishna internally, or when the cloud of Krishna comes over you internally, what you feel is just unabounding joy, more joy than you can handle. Love, water will pour out of your eyes, you will feel your adrenals flutter. If you open your eyes and look around, or if you find your mind drifting onto things, everything seems a little bit less oppressive. And because of that, your consciousness rises, your soul rises, everything becomes funny and joyful and just the happiest you'll ever be. And I will post a video of this later, so you guys have an example of what this looks like externally. And you can also tune in to my guru, who posts it every day, and he's consistently showing what this bliss will look like externally as well. Now, rewinding a little bit, a bona fide guru is a person who displays devotional ecstasy. Our practice, at its heart, is the chanting of the holy name. So what we do besides reading scripture is chanting the Maha Mantra. The Maha Mantra is a 16-word phrase that consists of the following words: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the Maha Mantra, and we chant this 108 times on a round of beads. So some people will chant one round of beads, or 108 Maha Mantras per day. Some people will do 2 rounds per day. Some people will do 4. Some people will do 16. Some people will do however many they feel like or can handle. With Vaidhi Bhakti, the recommendation is to chant 16 rounds per day. With our path, which is Raganuga, Raganuga is basically ignoring all of the rules and processes and rites and rituals and skipping straight to associating with those persons who have love for the divine person. And by doing so, you also develop that love for Krishna. Now, this can only happen after you've met your guru, or the person who has already realized what you are trying to realize. This is common sense, this is truth, this is part of Krishna. So anyway, by chanting the Maha Mantra, we are literally having Krishna dance upon our tongues. We are relishing his name, who is also the person himself. And the more you chant, basically the more you will have Krishna on mind, the more you will love Krishna if you are associating with his devotees. And the more you will want. Divine love is something that builds and builds and builds and builds and builds forever. This isn't something where you just get to a certain level and you're cut off. That isn't how the human consciousness works. We are actually always looking for something else, always looking for something new. And the only thing that can give us that is Krishna consciousness, Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Because this is always building, we are always wanting more, and we are always given more. It's a reciprocal relationship, so that is the nature of our path, and that is the nature of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, I hope to delve more into these topics later on in a deeper capacity, specifically the history of our tradition, the major figures within the tradition, explaining more concepts to you guys, and ultimately developing more and more love for Krishna. So if you're looking for a place to start, I would say start reading the Bhagavad Gita. Come and associate with the devotees that already have what you're looking for. I am giving you a place right now where you can come and develop Raganuga Bhakti, and you don't have to waste your time with rules and regulations in the neophyte platform. So in the link in description down below, you can come visit my guru, Srila Garahari Maharaj, on Facebook. And by watching his classes every day and reading Bhagavad Gita and chanting even one time a day, if you chant the Maha Mantra one time a day and listen to my Guru Maharaj's videos and read the scriptures, you can come to become liberated and, after this life, enter Goloka Vrindavan with the rest of us. So, thank you for watching, and Radhe Radhe.